right. Hello and welcome to the IoTeXperts bi-weekly live stream. However, this time we are not doing a live stream. This is a pre-recording. If you may have noticed, unfortunately, during this particular episode, we won't be able to answer your questions live. However, would suggest dropping a comment in the video and we will get to those as soon as we possibly can. Now, this live stream or pre-recording in this case is, as always, brought to you by the folks at IoTeX. My name is Robert Wolf. I'm your host today, and every 2 weeks, as we take a deeper dive, a deeper look into the IoTeX developer ecosystem and explore the many things happening in and around this very, very exciting space. Each of these live streams, I'm gonna keep saying live streams because this is just kind of like my, my flow. We'll start with developer updates, followed by in-depth conversations from IoTeX and our growing developer ecosystem. Joined by featured experts, we discuss a plethora of topics tailored for developers. This is a developer showcase, right? We'll talk about opportunities, explore resources, bring new and exciting IoTeX developments to light. And of course, all of these sessions are followed by audience Q&A. Now, as I mentioned, this Q&A won't take place live. We won't be able to answer your questions here on the video. Our featured guest, unfortunately, won't be able to. However, as I said, drop your questions in the comments section. We will be in contact with our guest. And of course, if those questions are tailored for us, we will make sure they get answered in the comments as well and or on our Discord. So if you enjoy this content, I say it every time, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the IoTeX YouTube channel, the official one where you are watching this right now, and you will be or get access to a lot of content like this. We're constantly pushing out new videos. We have this live stream every 2 weeks. We also have lots of others from the IoTeX folks that are publishing webinars and other announcements and the likes. So I think without further ado, I want to bring in our guests, right? So, as always, we have our co-host here, Giuseppe. Welcome, Giuseppe.
Hey, Robert. How's it going?
Good, thanks. And I have one more thing I'm going to say here real quick before we bring in our very, very featured guest here.
Go for it.
From RockX. But you may notice I'm not in my normal setup. Right, Giuseppe?
I have noticed you're not in your normal setup. I think you're pretty much set for a Christmas vacation, what appears to be a Christmas vacation in a hot place.
I am at my family's home down in Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. So getting ready for, the holidays, Christmas right around the corner. This is a pre-recording. So you may be watching this. You're going to be watching this next week, but We're actually recording this on the 21st of December. So Christmas is coming up. I'm on holiday. You might hear a dog bark. You're not seeing me in my normal outfit. I'm wearing a little llama with glasses outfit. But yeah, so pardon the interruptions if something does happen. Giuseppe, if I have to mute, you know very well how to take this over, right?
Yeah, 100%. And you might notice that I am in my normal setup. So
it's looking good. I feel like it gets better every time we broadcast. You have this nice hue or purple hue in the background, and I like the books on the shelf and everything.
Yeah, I start tweaking it. I have a few plants. I'm having trouble with that one. It's not doing too well, but the others are doing pretty fine. So
awesome.
Taking care of plants is a skill.
All right, so
all right, let's introduce our guest.
All my plants die, so yeah, definitely. Okay, our guest is on, and I'm hitting the button right now. Boom, Gandalf from RockX. How are you doing today, Gandalf?
Doing very well, thank you. And you might notice I'm in my natural environment here. So
that is a pretty cool natural environment.
Yeah, it's a bit strange to be in. Next vacation, yes, you might not come out of it.
Cool. So Gandalf, the way we usually like to start these episodes are with a origin story. Am I lagging?
A little bit.
Is good. Am I lagging? Okay. Sorry. So yeah, I hope you got that. We want to do a bit of an origin story. So get to know you. Who is Gandalf? What does Gandalf do for RockX?
Well, first up, I need to have a disclaimer saying I'm not Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White. That's normally the first question that people ask. Which one are you? And I'm like, neither. I can't claim to be those.
I am my own Gandalf.
That is correct, yes. I've been in the space for about 6 years now. Before that, I came in from banking and fintech. And I've worked in a variety of different capacities from marketing, business development, project management, community management, a whole range of different things. I started out managing a community of about 500,000 strong at the time. and moved into technical writing for a blockchain platform, and worked with a number of different projects at the time, from DApp aggregators to simple startup projects. I then moved into being a featured journalist and then a news journalist for Cointelegraph. And I've got about, I think the last count was about 6 or 7 million views to my articles there. So that was a bit of an exciting time. And at the same time, I also worked as the editor-in-chief for Scott Melker, which I believe you may have heard of. The Wolf of All Streets is who he goes by online. And then like I said, I've moved around a bit. So then after that, I started working in the NFT space as an advisor, and then ended up full-time with an NFT launchpad, or an NFT platform, you could say. And while I was with them, I was able to work with a number of high-profile guests like LaMelo Ball, Steve Aoki, Mike Tyson with his NFTs. I worked on a few others, which I probably can't mention at this point in time, but that was definitely a bit of a whirlwind, trying to balance the educating, let me say, of Web3 and NFTs with some of these celebrities or well-known people, and their own traditional methods. And then from there, I moved into RockX and the DeFi space, which is something that I dabbled in for a little bit over the years, but not really gotten into full time. And this was my dive into DeFi full time. And so right now I'm taking care of partnerships and ecosystem development, and that is a full-time job with the team, because we are currently involved in almost 40 different ecosystems or chains at RockX. So it's quite a fulfilling job there.
Amazing. And I mean, you've said so much, and you've touched upon so many different things. Like you said, it's been like a whirlwind, and just based on that, we could have content for the whole episode. But what I wanted to touch upon is just for some context, right? So first of all, what is RockX? Second, what is the connection with IoTeX? You know, why are we here at the IoTeXperts live stream?
Absolutely.
Let's maybe talk a little bit about that, and then so we give enough context to our audience, and then we move on from there and we see where it goes.
For sure. So RockX started in 2019, and it was founded by a couple of people, one being the co-founder of Zilliqa, and Julian, who is now our current CEO. And he is friends, or has known Rowland for about 5 years now, I believe. And so that's where the connection came with IoTeX, and we as RockX are one of the active validators on IoTeX. I think we've got about, from last count, it was 68 million votes, I think, or somewhere around there. So we're right in the middle there of the validators, and it's really important for us to support and help secure. This is one of the ethoses of RockX, is to really provide that security and support for these active ecosystems. And even though I said that we're involved in about 40 of them, we don't necessarily, there's probably about 100 different ecosystems or chains that you can stake with currently. And so, or probably more even, without counting them. And we're relatively selective. And so with IoTeX, it was important that we understood and knew the team, knew where you guys were heading, and we did our due diligence, and that was all done in 2019, and we haven't looked back since.
So RockX sounds like I want to say almost like a conglomerate of staking opportunities, a portfolio of staking opportunities that users or customers can come in, and you have done the vetting work for them. So you've basically come in, they can come in and say, I confidently can throw my crypto coins or tokens at these specific validators or governance nodes on these different blockchains. You've kind of tallied up the different return rates for these different validators and nodes, and then your customers become more educated and knowledgeable, and thus make better decisions when putting their tokens or coins up to vote and in these governance models?
It's that and a lot more, in fact, because I mean, that's in one sense how RockX started, but we've grown so much and developed so much further than that in the last few years, being that we have a very strong tech team with I think it was 50 or 70 years of experience combined behind them, just in like the Web3 space. And the tech team, what we have been able to do with this effective tech team is we're able to develop a lot of the infrastructure and the technology underneath these services. So RockX has three verticals. The first one is staking, which is what we're here to talk about. Non-custodial staking, that is, which is where you do not send your tokens to somebody else's wallet and you do not lose custody of it, which
That's kind of staking.
yeah, it's the
Not-
only way to do it, really.
Yeah.
Which, as people who have been following the news recently with certain large organizations, it's really important to keep control and custody of your own assets. So non-custodial staking is the first. The second is around data, which is access nodes and accessing on-chain data, which essentially every project, every organization that is connected to the blockchain needs access nodes in one way, shape, or form. And the third is around wallet management and key management and security there, which is MPC technology, multi-party computation. And that's in a really, really simple way of thinking about that is essentially thinking of multi-sig wallets, but taking it to the next level, increasing the security, improving the security of that. And especially when you've got signatories moving in and out, some coming, some leaving, and all that sort of thing, without compromising on the security and the privacy of the services. So those are the three verticals, and those have developed out because as we work with our clients and our partners, we feel that the infrastructure is still growing and evolving, and we end up building out, like we've partnered with Lido to build out liquid staking on Ethereum and Avalanche. We've partnered with SSV to build out this MPC tech on Ethereum. And we're always working with partners like IoTeX and others to build out the underlying infrastructure as it develops in addition to the solution. And that allows us to provide that extra security, to provide that extra satisfaction to the clients. I mean, one of the things that we've recently added is our slashing security, which basically means if any of our validators, for whatever reason, gets slashed or has any downtime, the penalties are not borne by our clients, which is really important in this day and age.
Okay, so I want to understand this a little more because I actually have a validator node on IoTeX as well, right? So we're place number 6. Woo, we keep keep climbing the ladder. But so if we mess up, if our node glitches or something happens on our back end, we get penalized. We go into probation. So does this mean that RockX, even if your node gets messed up, you're still guaranteeing your customers that percentage, even if your node is no longer making money for that period?
Any penalty that is borne by us does not get passed on to our clients. Correct.
Okay, that's good. So that's awesome.
And one of the things that it's I think important for people to understand is, and I've just recently done research on slashing, which is why I'm a little bit more familiar with this, is that the majority of slashing events or penalties that occur by nodes is not from malicious actions. The majority of it is from human error or technical incapacities. And for example, I'm just going to touch on Ethereum just very briefly, just because I understand the slashing system there really well. The largest slashing incident, in fact, most of the largest slashing incidences, which involve numerous dozens and dozens of validators, have all occurred because teams have tried to over-engineer their validator systems and their backups and their security. They've tried to ensure that they don't have downtime by running backup nodes and all of this sort of thing. And that has actually resulted in things like double signing of blocks. And that is a slashable event. And so the slashing is actually a result of projects trying to prevent themselves from doing the wrong thing, which in essence, funnily enough, has resulted in them doing the wrong thing. So any team or any project has the risk of slashing, has the risk of downtime. Nobody's immune, even if they seem quite reliable and secure. And that's why it's really important that you've got these extra safeguards and you've got a team that is constantly managing and evolving the security and the technology underneath. And that's one of the things that RockX really prides itself with.
I mean, that's super cool and actually really interesting topic. So why don't we look a little bit at at visually what RockX offer? I'll share my screen. We'll go through the website. We'll look at the verticals that you mentioned, and I wanted to touch upon a couple of things. One being staking. You guys have a video for people that like to stake on IoTeX, and number two. Since we are more developer focused on this live stream, maybe let's see what kind of advantages RockX offers for Web3 developers. All right, so I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Awesome.
And we'll get that going.
Yeah, it is exciting to hear though, Gandalf, as he pulls this up, it is exciting to hear about, the security in terms of funds that you're at RockX is able to provide. It goes without saying, right? Like if you're voting for another IoTeX node and that node goes down, as a voter, you also lose money, right? Like not only is the delegate losing money, but if you're in it for the rewards, obviously, you're going to get a hit.
Which, I mean, at the end of the day, most investors are.
Yeah, of course.
That's why they're doing
it. And so on that note, I guess it makes sense. I want to sit back and just like analyze the business model, right? Like the monetization model that you guys have going on there, but it kind of does work out because you're able to, if anything, pad one of your down nodes with money coming in from your other nodes, so on and so forth, other revenue streams that you can pad it with. But yeah, cool.
I mean, just going on that, when I was talking about the slashing, some of the larger slashing events that have happened with validators has like the biggest one resulted in, I think, 75 of stakers. What was it? Staker, I think was the name of the project. 75 of their validators being slashed in one offense.
Wow.
Which is a significant impact and a significant cost. And some of the things that are relatively simple, but that we do because we don't want, obviously, even though we've got this slashing insurance, we don't really want to have to pay it out to our clients if we don't need to. And so, like every single one of our validators is run in an isolated environment, and it's got restricted access control, which is when you hear it, it's like, well, yeah, of course, but that doesn't happen in reality with a lot of validators. And we having a simple safeguard system that alerts you when something is wrong. Again, sounds simple enough, but doesn't really happen in reality, especially with a lot of individual validators where it's just something that's set up by either a startup or just an individual person who might be experienced in the tech side, but not necessarily in the project management or the security or process management. And process management is something that is really left by the wayside. Something I've found is left by the wayside in a lot of these startups is, I'm not saying IoTeX, but in validators setting up, is not being able to set up processes and contingencies correctly. I won't go into that any further because I could spend another 10, 15 minutes talking on that.
You can.
Yeah. Even IoTeX recommends having a backup server, right? Like once you become a delegate node, once you become a validator, once you become one of the top 36, they recommend having a backup server in case your other server goes off. But then there's all these other problems that could happen.
Correct.
Both of your nodes start solving at the same time. You could literally get completely banned from the network period.
That's right.
And so
Well,
there's
that's a double signing that I was talking about. That
That's
a
nice.
number
Yeah.
of projects
yeah.
have ended up having.
Yeah, so Gandalf, let's go into this website. This is your,
Yep.
you know what? Not a lot of people get an opportunity like this. I don't know how much UX UI research you did with your customers, but this is your opportunity to kind of walk us through how you expect your new customers to experience your website. What are some of the places that are the must clicks, and then tell us about what we can learn in these areas. That's what we want to
Well,
do, right? Just be or
Yeah,
yeah,
so I would say let's talk maybe a little bit about for example, I mean the first thing that I see is build, right? And since we're all interested in that, let's see what kind of options or what kind of advantages the developers have, accessing your Node API.
yeah. So one of the things which we're really focused hard on in the last 6 months and the next probably 6 to 12 months as well is creating an environment for developers and institutions and clients where it's for lack of a better phrase, an all-in-one shop. And this is one of the things that we felt was really lacking. For example, when you stake, if you want to stake on multiple chains, you have to go to each explorer. You've got to set up a wallet with each of those different ones. You've got to understand the process for staking, and it's going to be different for each separate chain, and it's quite complicated and convoluted. Access node, same thing. You've got to find a particular um, node provider who and understand how to set up an API with that provider, and then you've got to go to the next one on the next chain, and so we're trying to build that out all in the one location for people with the same process. Again, going back to that process management and trying to really refine that user experience. And so we've launched an access node portal, which allows users to basically obtain access nodes from all the different chains that we offer node support on in one location. And it's simply within 2 or 3 clicks, you can get an API, copy it into your software, and you'll be up and running. And then the same thing with the staking. We've got a staking portal which is coming out in the next month, which will allow people to set up and manage their staking and their rewards across multiple chains in the one location. But anyway, so with build,
like a wallet, right? Almost like a Exodus wallet or something like that, where you can bring your tokens or coins into a single location and then just stake it, or is it different?
Yeah, it's a little bit different because it's non-custodial. So the way it works is you'll still have your own wallets, but what you do is you basically just link each wallet, you connect each wallet to the portal, and then it pulls the data across and aggregates it. So you might have 5 different wallets, for example, that are staking on different chains. You just pop those wallets in, connect them up, and then what it will do is it will come up with a summary, an overview of the total amount that you've got staked, with RockX, and a breakdown of each of the chains. And then you can go through and go into a bit more micro detail about the daily rewards, the transactions, the delegations, the rates, and all of that.
Hey, Gandalf. I don't see the IoTeX logo on that picture.
I was just about to say, Robert, I actually am noticing a gap here on the second
Well,
row.
that's for access nodes.
Yes, and I'm saying right here, maybe there could be a nice access node for IoTeX right under.
I'm sure that we could sort that out. It's just a few clicks of the button. So access nodes. One of the things that is really important, especially for new developers, is being able to not have to worry about all that extra infrastructure, that extra all those side things that they need to worry about. For example, getting access to on-chain data and being able to manage that. And so a lot of our access nodes, we offer free plans for with basic support. And what that allows people to do is, as a developer, if you're building a project or a startup, you can essentially connect, run either on mainnet or on testnet, if we offer it on testnet as well, and kind of run your project or your whatever it is that you're building in a real and live environment without a cost. I mean, there's going to be the cost of the transactions, of course, but that's minimal in a lot of chains. But some of these access nodes cost up on $5,000-$10,000 a month to manage. Some of them are even more, and that's a cost that a lot of these startups are just they're incapable of covering and managing. And so we're really trying to avoid that challenge or that hurdle and encourage development because there's only amazing minds in this space. I mean, let's face it, this space is nobody's been brought up in this space because their father worked in this space or because that's what they studied at university or anything like that. Everyone's here because they want to be here. They're movers and changers in the space, and so let's equip them to be able to move and change.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I strongly agree. I think some of the best engineers maybe at the moment are definitely in the space, and all the stuff that's been built lately. And I don't know, the way I see it in my mind is a lot of growth happening soon, and even like the way that the products have changed, over the past couple of years. It's getting more and more refined. In a way, it's getting more Web 2ified in terms of like UX, but that's a good thing. It's not.
I should say that's not a bad thing. That's not
exactly.
a bad thing.
Exactly. So apart from having the IoTeX node access here, let's look, for example, at staking, right? So,
So right now, like I said, we don't have the portal up, but you come back in a month and that'll be up and running, which we're really, really excited to be able to introduce. So
for example, you guys had a little bit of content here. So if I look at the IoTeX and I say that I want to start staking, you guys have prepared an IoTeX staking guide that maybe we can share the link of for people to make it easy to then stake IoTeX with RockX.
Yeah, and again, that goes back to the fact that we're really trying to remove all those hurdles. We're trying to make the process as smooth and easy for people as possible. And even though we cater a lot to institutions, and that's kind of where our core focus is, we do have retail investors and a lot of those, and in fact, institutions as well. This might be the first time that they've staked. They might have come from more traditional financial solutions and financial services, and this is one of the things that we really want to do is we want to be able to offer institutions and retail investors the financial services that they're unable to transition to easily, like a bank, for example. A bank has the process in place and has the infrastructure and the regulations to take lending and borrowing from Web 2 to Web 3. It's just basically switching the asset. Staking, there is no precedence in the traditional financial space. There is no regulation for a bank to say, here's how we set up, here's how we safeguard our customers and protect ourselves. This is how we manage it, the infrastructure. There is none of that. And so that's where they need the support. And same thing with retail investors, like I was saying about how nobody's grown up in this space. It's really important. And so just having a staking guide, which is just it basically walks through step by step how to stake. So you copy that, you don't even have to think about it.
Yeah,
that's great. Sorry, go ahead, Robert.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, I was going to say, when you think institutions, when you think, traditional investings and returns on investment, without the need to trade, I always think of dividend, right? Like the dividend model.
Yep.
And, people invest in various assets, especially as you start going a little bit, I think, more on the conservative side of things. But it's always kind of nice to know that your shares are returning a dividend. Staking, I've tried explaining staking, or the word comes up, and a lot of people are like, "What the heck is staking? I don't understand this. What do you mean by freezing or locking your tokens and or your coins? Like, I don't understand all this." And the closest I've gotten to explaining it is it's like a dividend model for your crypto coin.
Exactly. I mean, one way that you could think about it is with a dividend, you're giving the bank your money and you're locking it away with them. And they're getting all the profits, they're getting all the value out of that they can. They're squeezing it for its max. And they're giving you literally a drip. I mean, I remember when I was growing up, my father and I would talk about investments, and because I was that way minded as a kid, and he was like, "Oh, you should look into dividends. It's nice and safe and easy to do. You should be able to get 10-15%." So I started looking into it, and there was nothing over like 3 or 4%.
Yeah, we're the 10-15 percenters. Maybe
And
REITs.
that was like 30 years ago, 40 years
Yeah.
ago.
From
He was
another
thinking,
era,
because
yeah.
that's right. He is from another era. And so just even back then, the drop in return was significant. And I mean, you're not going to find 3 or 4% on a dividend nowadays. But so it's basically doing that, but just like you would say with a mutual or a customer-owned organization, it's the returns are actually basically the majority of them, if not all of them, go straight back to the client yourself, and the value is given to you. And not only that, but you're not giving your money to the bank or the organization, that centralized organization, to kind of value off. You're actually giving it to the network and to the people, without actually giving it to anybody, because it's non-custodial. It's the best of everything in a sense.
That's a very nice explanation. I'm enjoying this time. I think you're very knowledgeable, very very eloquent, and
Thank
it's
you.
a great discussion. Yeah, and you make it very simple. So why don't we maybe shift gear and jump into the future? What do you guys have planned? We're almost at the end of 2022. What's going on for next year, for 2023?
Mm. I would like to say that we're having a break and a breather, but that's not going to be the case. We've already. Sorry?
You want a break or a breather?
I would love a break or a breather.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love that. But time does not stop in Web3. That much I think everybody knows within the first week of entering the space. So, like I mentioned, we've got the staking portal, which is going to be launched, and we're working with numerous different chains to really get that out, and get the support and the infrastructure in place there. So it's a really seamless experience for the users. We're also going to be working on, well, launching rather, a rewards and referral program, which is going to be a really positive thing for not only our retail investors, but people who just want to test and try out our services. And I think that's really important because, like I mentioned before, a lot of people aren't necessarily familiar with staking. They're not necessarily familiar with access nodes and how all that works. And it's so much easier to use something if you're going to get paid for it, if you're going to get rewards, and you're going to get some benefit, even if you don't know whether you'll be using it in the long term. So that's another thing that we're excited about. And the other thing that we're really working closely on is liquid staking. And I'm not sure. Should I explain liquid staking, what that is and how that works?
That's actually, please, if you don't mind, because I wanted to get a kind of a top-down view of all of your products, right? Because if you go to the RockX website, it looks like you have 4 major products. You have staking as a service, which we've pretty much covered. Then you have liquid staking, Access Node API, and Sepolia Faucet. And I understand that you're not the expert at Sepolia Faucet, but maybe we can get someone on Sepolia Faucet in a future episode. But the other
Absolutely.
3.
Yeah, for sure. So staking, like you said, we've kind of covered that. Liquid staking is essentially staking to the next level. So when you think of staking, there are actually 3, maybe 4 different options. So you've got your custodial staking, which is the old version of staking. You send your tokens to this address, they get locked away. You can withdraw them after X amount of days, and you just have to trust on the project or the team that are managing that, and just hope for the best. That's essentially what happens with staking on centralized exchanges. It's custodial staking in essence. The next level for that is non-custodial staking, and that can be either with a validator platform or a staking provider like RockX, or it could be with a staking pool. However, with a staking pool, you still are kind of reliant on the pool owner to kind of manage that and not risk your funds in essence. And like, for example, if I was wanting to do something malicious, I wouldn't want to use my own funds. I'll set up a staking pool, get a few $1 million of other people's funds in the staking pool, do what I need to, and I haven't risked a single dollar. Now, I'm not saying that's what pools are for. By all means, that's not what I'm saying. I'm just painting a picture of
what could be.
That's right. Or just because people do need to be aware of the risks, and there are risks with every financial product, whether it's Web 2, Web 3, whatever. The other thing that is important to be aware of is, as far as slashing and downtime, how that is being managed with a pool provider. And with a pool provider, often you have a whole range of validators being managed by the pool, because they'll have millions and millions of dollars in the one pool, and that's spread over multiple validators. And in fact, that's where these mass slashing events occur. It's normally on these pool products and services. Again, I'm not saying that you need to be worried about that about every pool, but it's just something that you need to be aware of and need to understand the risks and the processes and the safeguards that are in place there. But then the problem with both those, all of these staking services so far, is liquidity. And that's where liquid staking comes in play. So with staking, just like with a dividend, you have to lock your funds in place for X amount of time. You cannot access them. If you do, you lose all your rewards, or you're penalized for X amount. And often with some of these, there'll be an unbonding period. And some of them are up to a month of unbonding, where you actually, once you make the decision that you need to access those funds, you then have to wait another month before you can actually use those funds. And during that month, you're not earning any rewards. And that's been a pain point for quite a few different chains. I believe you guys have a much shorter unbonding period.
We call it the withdrawal period. So you unstake, then you withdraw, right? And I think the withdrawal period is only 3 days. There are other chains. I like another chain I'm familiar with. I'm not going to call out other chains, but another chain does like 10-day withdrawal period, right? But it's different depending. And you lose those days of rewards. So you have to really think, like, do I want to withdraw it because I'm going to lose those rewards?
But there's a reason for that. So it's not that you just want to go with the chain that has the smallest withdrawal period or unbonding period, because the reason why chains have this is for security reasons. And so there's a bit of a balance there, which is why even though you guys want to have it as short as possible, you still have that 3 days. And there's a very good reason for that. But that's where liquid staking comes in play. And liquid staking, the way that works is, when let's say I'm going to stake with IoTeX, just for argument's sake. So I want to give you guys $100,000 of your token aid. We'll just call it for argument's sake. And then what will happen is, when I stake with you $100,000 with token A, I will receive 100,000 token Bs, tokens from token B, as kind of, we could say, collateral, whatever you want to call it. And that token B will be fully liquid. It will have pools on dexes that you can, liquidity pools that you can exchange it with, say, ETH or a stable coin or whatever the trading pairs are at the time. And what will happen is, whoever I sell my token B to, they then have own the collateral or the access to then redeem the $100,000 of token A, or however much that they've purchased of it.
Yeah, I've seen these liquidity pools also function in pairs too, where you pair up liquidity pools with multiple tokens.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, and so what this allows you to do is, it allows you to, one, stick to the protocols of the chain. We're locking your funds away. You're reaping the rewards every single day, but it means that you have the security that if you need to access those funds, you can. And I mean, what some people will do is, they'll stake their tokens in liquid staking. They'll receive token B. They'll then use token B, put it in a liquidity pool, and they'll be earning double rewards. Just
why not?
A really straightforward way of just doubling your returns, or tripling, or whatever it ends up being. without actually, all you're risking is just your initial investment. And then you still have the ability to withdraw those funds from the liquidity pool and trade them if you need to. And I don't suggest you go too deep down that rabbit hole of trying to sort of double up and triple up and quadruple up. And that's how certain large organizations get into the mess that they're in today. But
Giuseppe, we gonna do some liquid staking at RockX.
I mean, why not? It's it's a fresh year, fresh start. Let's do it.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm sure there'll be people that will be interested in that with IoTeX for sure, and that's definitely something that
big time.
who knows?
Oh, I mean, the whole liquidity pool thing. I've dabbled into it on the Tron blockchain. So I started that was where I first experienced this whole liquidity pool or liquid staking, where and it was where you take X amount of these tokens, X amount of these coins, you pair the token with the coin, and then you get the LP token. And that LP token represents your holdings that are then earning, right? So I had some fun with it, but you can get lost in there. Also, I mean, I don't want to say it's definitely not leveraging, but the more inception layers you go down, the harder you can get hit. And
that's what I was trying to allude to, in that you don't want to go too far down. The other that's really important to take note of is, just like with stable coins, you want to make sure that the project who has set up the infrastructure for that token, or the tokenomics for that, they are experienced, they understand what they're doing, because you don't want to risk the token being depegged, or the token having, like with liquid staking, you're interacting with the smart contract. And instead of interacting with a project or a team where you can kind of talk to them and figure things out, with a smart contract, you're kind of at the mercy of the contract. And if the contract gets compromised, there could be issues. And so you really, liquid staking, it's something that you need to be really familiar with and have a lot of experience with to be able to do it. And that's one of the things that, I mean, I'm obviously biased towards RockX, but for Lido, I mean, everybody knows about Lido. For them to basically commission us to build out the liquid staking on Avalanche with the Avalanche team, that kind of shows the confidence that they have in our solution. And then we're building it on Ethereum. And who knows, maybe IoTeX, maybe we'll see where in the future that goes as well.
Nice, very nice. Yeah. So, Giuseppe, Gandalf, I want to be conscious here of the time clock. We're coming up to the top of the hour, and I know this isn't a live stream, but we're pretty much hitting close to the top of the hour in terms of the amount of time we have allocated here. We didn't hit, or did we hit already, that last product that you all have, which is the Access Node API? I think we talked about it at the beginning with the staking, right? A little bit.
Yeah, we talked about it beforehand, right? So I feel this was a staking masterclass, courtesy of Gandalf, and I really enjoyed it. And I hope that for whenever you guys watch this next week, you'll have it'll be an opportunity to learn something. And obviously, for all the people that are going to be watching this, feel free to message us on Discord. Feel free to get in touch with the team at RockX. I'm sure if you go through their website, they can find the contacts. And we'll always be here, on Discord to answer questions. And Jeremy is doing a great job troubleshooting or helping people out. So is Simone and the rest of the team.
One of the things that I'll just add to that is that we have a lot of resources that we're building out and have already built out on our website about like what is staking, how to go about staking, and that's not specific. Although we use the RockX website or the RockX system as the kind of the basis to visually demonstrate these educational resources, it's not exclusive to that. So even if you don't have to stake with RockX. There's plenty of staking providers out there. But you can go to the website, you can understand, go through some of the educational resources, really understand what you're looking at. And then you'll be better equipped at making a decision about who you want to stake with, how you want to stake, where you want to stake, and all of that. So don't feel like you necessarily have to go to RockX just when you want to use our services and products. We really want to be there for the community, no matter who you are, whether you're with us or not.
I really enjoyed that part in the website with the blog, the news, and all the updates. And I feel the educational value is really important. So
Thank you.
It's important. It's our responsibility for the
Absolutely.
pioneers of this space. It's our responsibility to make sure we allocate some of our resources towards education, educating the population on
100%.
this. So kudos to RockX for doing that. I know IoTeX does a great job at that. I hope my genie.
we try.
Yeah, you do a great job. Everyone's doing a great job here. We all try to kind of like make sure we play our part. So that's awesome. Let's close this out. Giuseppe, actually, first I'll go over to you. We have your website here listed. So www.rockx, that's RockX.com. Go check that out. Giuseppe was talking about the Discord server. There it is scrolling across the bottom, discord.gg/IoTeX. Gandalf, any last words, shameless plug, call to action before I give these closing remarks and just me and Giuseppe give our closing remarks?
What I would say is, if you're thinking about doing something with Web3 space, just do it and fail, because you're not going to get a chance. You're not going to get a better time to do it. In the sense of the space moves so quickly, but it's so early. So it moves so quickly in the sense that don't wait. But also, it's not like you need to wait for the bull market. The bear market is the best time to build, the best time to really understand these services and products. While there's no hype, there's no craziness going on, while people aren't all sentimentally involved and emotionally charged and just simply crazy, because that's what happens in a bull market. Get involved, find out who's building, find out who's connecting in the space, who's networking. Just do it. Just do it.
Awesome. I love that, actually, Gandalf. I totally agree. Now's the time to get busy. Not a lot of distractions right now, other than
absolutely
you should be working on. So that's awesome. Good words of wisdom from Gandalf. The not gray, not white. All right, Giuseppe. And thank you so much. Any last words from you, Giuseppe?
No, I actually want to thank you for making this, Robert, and even though you were not on site, and I want to thank Gandalf because despite the time differences, we actually made it happen.
You didn't just do that.
This is the view. This is the view you guys are making. The sunset.
Oh, look at that!
Wow.
Yeah.
So I hope next time there'll only be 2 video screens. There'll be myself and Robert with the sunset behind us, and then there'll be Giuseppe with your beautiful plants.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wow, the plants are getting acknowledged. So that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, really, thank you for your time. Thank you for being so knowledgeable and sharing your knowledge with us and all the people that watch this, and for all the people that will be watching next week. Just enjoy the rest of your holidays and have a happy New Year.
Excellent. Well said, Giuseppe. And Gandalf, also from me.
Look at that view.
I know. This isn't fake. This is not a green screen. This is real. But also, on behalf of myself, on behalf of IoTeX, huge thank you for spending this hour with us. Everyone watching on demand, big thanks to you all for spending your time with us, and RockX, of course, for allowing you to be here, Gandalf. Giuseppe, as always, the most amazing co-host out there. Thank you for your time and being here with us.
Thank you, man.
Let's close this out. Is that okay?
All right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me,
See you guys next time. Yeah. Keep in touch.
All right. So everyone watching, don't forget to follow IoTeX Official on YouTube. We will see you in the following episode, 2023, right back at you with the IoTeXperts live stream. We have a lot of exciting things coming up in this next year. So we will see you then. Hope you all have a wonderful Christmas, or actually by the time you watch, hope you had a wonderful holiday. If you celebrate Christmas, a wonderful Christmas, and wishing you all a safe and happy New Year's. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.
See you guys.
Bye bye.